Why, hello! We should continue our conversation on Stoicism. We are going over the moral letters from Seneca. I will skip letter 11 because I found it not incredibly interesting, which is just me, but I didn't find much to talk about in that letter. So if you don't mind, we shall continue with letter 32. And it's a fairly short one, and I wanted to start kind of in the second paragraph. Are you wondering what pleases me the most out of everything I hear about you? It is that I hear nothing at all, that most of those whom I question do not know how you are doing. This is beneficial, to have nothing to do with those who are unlike you, whose desires are different from yours. Indeed, I am confident that you cannot be turned aside and will persist in your intention even if crowds of bothersome people surround you. What, then, is the issue? I am not afraid that they will change you, but I am afraid that they will hinder you. Even he who delays you does great harm, especially since life is so short. And we make it even shorter by our inconsistency. And we make one fresh start after another. We tear it to bits, we shred it. Make haste then, dear Lucilius, and think how much more speed you would put on if an enemy were pursuing you from behind, if you saw mounted horsemen coming up from behind you, harrying your retreat. That is in fact what is happening. You are being pursued. Put on speed, make your escape, get yourself to safety. Remind yourself often how fine a thing it is to reach the summit of life before you die, and then to be in peace as you wait out the remainder of your time, relying only on yourself. For once one possesses happiness, duration does not make it any happier. When will the day come when you will realize that time doesn't matter for you and will be at peace, caring nothing for the future, completely satisfied with what you are? Would you like to know what it is that makes people greedy for the future? Not one of them yet belongs to himself. There were other things your parents wished for you to have. What I wish is for you to have contempt for all their bountiful wishes. In their prayers, many are robbed to make you rich. Whatever they transfer to you, you must take them from you. They must take from someone else. My wish is this: may you be your own master. May your mind, which is now driven this way and that by its concerns, come at last to a halt, sure and content in itself. May you come to understand those true goods that belong to you in the moment you understand them, and so feel no need of additional years. In order to rise above necessities, to gain one's discharge, to be free, one must live a life that is already complete. Farewell. A very interesting letter, I find. A letter where I think Seneca is saying, you must take the time to appreciate the moment you are in. You must take the time to value what you have at this point in time. And when you do that, when you become better at that, you do not allow yourself to drift to dreams of the future, and I wish I had this and had that, and if only I had such and such, etc. The advantage of doing that, of being present in the here and now, being right here, being here as you are here, in my mind is very valuable. We kind of live in a society in the West that encourages all sorts of things. We need to do X, Y, and Z. We need to have this and have that, and otherwise you don't count, and you this, that, and the other. But when you are able to stop and appreciate a moment for what it is, a moment that is a pleasant moment, That is an emotional moment, maybe a sad moment, maybe a touching moment. Whatever can happen, once you can do that, you value that moment. Even if it is in itself a negative moment, even if you are going through something unpleasant at that very moment, it is just that. It is a moment. And I think once you recognize life as being a succession of moments, where some are good and some are bad and some may be neutral, certain things become a lot easier. And then you may feel less of a need to really focus so heavily on the future. Looking at the future, look at what may be, but that you're not sure actually will be. What you think may be need not actually happen. Your future may be very different, end up being very different from how you pictured it to be. Things that you thought would last forever don't last forever. Things that you thought would last a short time end up lasting a very long time. Friendships may come and go. All these kinds of things are dynamic things that make the intricate complexity of life so interesting and exactly what it is. And even though some of those losses or realizations may be painful ones, they are moments, and moments pass. And by doing so, by letting go the kind of like having one eye always pointed towards the future, looking at what may be, looking far away of things that may happen, if you stop doing that, by letting go of that kind of stuff, those kinds of thoughts, letting go of those kinds of thoughts, I think you start to appreciate what you have considerably more. And that is very important. It's very important to have that ability to be content and satisfied with what you have, as opposed to continuously striving to want more. Because in my experience, the people who always want more invariably end up hitting a brick wall when at some point there is nothing else. There are, to use the cliched quote, there are no more worlds to conquer. At some point it's over, that you've accomplished what you could accomplish and there isn't anything else. Maybe worse than that is when you try to accomplish things that are not happening, that are just not working out. And that can be incredibly frustrating. I think one of the best illustrations I ever heard of someone explaining that concept excuse me, was an interview with a Dutch Michelin-starred chef, Ron Blau, who was asked in an interview about, people, celebrity chefs like Gordon Ramsay screaming in kitchens and that kind of stuff. And the interviewer asked, has this happened to you? And the chef said, yes, it has happened to me, because there are moments as a chef that you know exactly what it is you want to do. For example, how you want to plate something or how you want to cook something. And it's just not happening. It's not coming out of your hands, right? It's not happening. And at that point you want to pick up the plate in frustration and throw it at a wall, because you just can't translate what you want to do into something pragmatic. And I thought that was an exceptional way to put that feeling that I think we all know, because this doesn't just affect chefs. Sometimes you want to do something, achieve something, or accomplish something, and it's just not working out. And that's incredibly frustrating. When you make your happiness and contentment in life contingent upon such things, I will be happy if I have X, Y, and Z, or worse, when I have X, Y, and Z, and then X, Y, and Z don't happen, or maybe X and Y happen, but Z doesn't happen, etc. You become frustrated. And that is understandable and difficult, but that frustration arises because, again, you have made your happiness contingent upon certain things happening. And if those things then end up not happening, to exaggerate, your life could be ruined because you haven't achieved that thing that you wanted to achieve. Now, this is not an excuse for people to not do anything, to not work, to not try to achieve something, but understand what is and what is not within your control. Certain things you can try to achieve, but they are not fully under your control. I'm supervising student research right now, and we found absolutely nothing in our data. So this is a full year project. So you spend months planning, and then a lot of time acquiring data, and then you painstakingly analyze the data, and there's nothing. It's a while ago that I've seen something that a data set that has so little in it, which in itself is also informative. It's just disappointing because you hope to find something exciting, and that can be very frustrating. But as I told the student, but that's what science is like. This is you seek to uncover the truth, and what we thought was the truth was apparently not the truth. So we have to adjust our expectations now. We have to adjust how we look at this phenomenon, and that it's still frustrating, especially when that's one of your first experiences with research, but it's the way it is, and you have to learn to accept that and roll with the punches, so to speak. And if there is any school of philosophy that is about rolling with the punches, then I would say it's Stoicism, right? This has happened. It was not within my control. Whether or not I get statistically significant results is not within my control. Being the best version of myself is, having conducted this research in the best manner I could, that is within my control. Trying to write it up into a paper anyway, that is within my control. Trying to get it published somewhere is within my control. Whether it gets accepted somewhere, that's a different story, because it's not within my control. These are very important concepts, and I'm afraid I've already taken up too much of your time, so I will leave it at that. But I think it's very important to remember that. Don't look too far into the future. This moment is what you are certain of. This is real. The future may or may not happen, may or may not happen at all, may or may not happen in the way that you think it will happen, but this is real. So focus on this. And how can you be richer than if you can accept the present moment for what it is and enjoy it? Right? I hope this was useful. Let me know what you think. As always, a very kind thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I will gladly see you again next week for more talk about Stoicism. Bye.